The Six Flags Entertainment Corporation is the world's largest regional amusement park company, and they're now responsible for 26 amusement parks across North America, plus a bunch of other water parks and resorts. But today, I want to focus on the main parks. There's no doubt this merger will mean changes for the parks, both big and small, so let's dig into something fun. This is the next coaster to get the axe from every park in the brand new Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. The concept is pretty simple. All these parks are going to remove a coaster at some point, and I'm predicting the next one. It could be tomorrow, it could be in 30 years, that's not the point. I'm just trying to find the next one. I'm also going to tie a confidence meter to each one. This goes from 1 to 5, 1 being the least confident and 5 being the most confident that my pick will be the next one. I'm going to start west and go east. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, The Flash, Vertical Velocity. This seems like it was on its last leg a few years ago, and then it got a repaint and retheme in 2019, but apparently it's still very spotty in operation. Impulse coasters seem to be on watch, and I think this one has a lot of red flags. I'm giving this a 5. I'm very confident this will be the next coaster to go. California's Great America, Psycho Mouse. This whole park is about to go under, but I think there's one coaster that may leave the park early, and that's Psycho Mouse. Most of the coasters will go down with the park, and very few, I think, have a shot at being relocated. That being said, this 2001 Aero Wild Mouse is a good candidate. Just like Cedar Fair moved some of Geauga Lake's coasters right before that closed, I think the same happens here, but I'm less confident. I'll only give it a 3. Six Flags Magic Mountain, Superman Escape from Krypton. There's a lot of rumors about this going under, and it makes sense. The ride's outdated, it's probably expensive to operate, it's hard to find in the park, and we saw the other reverse freefall, Tower of Terror, close in Australia. They can still use the tower for Lex Luthor, but just stop using it for Superman, and the park wouldn't be much worse for the wear. I'm giving this a 3, since Viper still exists, and that could very well be the next one. Knott's Berry Farm, Coast Rider. I don't think it's just wishful thinking. This is over 10 years old. They've trimmed and butchered it over the years. Knott's doesn't have a lot of room to work with. It's prime territory right there on the boardwalk. I think they take this out and put another family coaster there. I only give this a 2. I'm not confident that Accelerator is going to outlast Coast Rider. Six Flags Mexico, Boomerang. It's hard to tell what's really going on here. They have a couple family coasters, they have an SLC, they have a relocated spinner, but this Boomerang dates back to 1988, and maybe that's the next one to go, even if it takes 25 years. The only coaster this park has ever removed was Medusa, and that was to RMC it. I really have no idea on this, so I'm giving it a 1. Six Flags Fiesta Texas, Pandemonium. I've been calling for it for years. It makes a lot of sense to move this to a smaller park and use the land for something new. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not like people are begging for it to leave, so I'm only giving it a 3. Honestly, it could be Kid Flash when all's said and done. Frontier City, Diamondback. This is the only park where the best coaster is the one on its way out. They only have 5 and the other one seems safe. Diamondback is closed more than any other coaster at the park. These Aero shuttle loops are an old dying model, and I know this chain doesn't want to take anything away from Frontier City, but I don't see any way this isn't the next coaster gone. I'm giving this a 5. Six Flags Over Texas, La Vibora. They have 14 coasters, but I don't think anything is in major danger. I don't think they touch Judge Roy. Maybe Runaway Mountain goes. But La Vibora is old, low capacity. I don't know about maintenance. We just saw Great Escape take out their bobsled, so I could see Over Texas doing the same, and they could use that land by the parking lot for something new. I'm giving this a 4. Worlds of Fun, Timberwolf. 8 coasters at this park, and most of them seem on solid ground. Timberwolf got a major reprofile 6 years ago, but when I ride it now, it seems like it's getting rougher each year. Now, they have some BZ Zinger. That brings them to 3 wooden coasters in the park. So do they really need Timberwolf anymore? This old Dinwoody that goes back to 1989. No, I hope they RMC it, but I can see them scrapping it. I'm giving this one a 5. Valley Fair, Excalibur. Another park they really don't want to take anything from. They have some old coasters, but they all seem to fit perfectly in their spot in the park. But Excalibur is just out there on its own. You have to go behind the water park to ride it. Nobody knows where it is. It's in a flood zone. It's old. It's janky. If this park was one that Cedar Fair really cared about, it would have been gone a long time ago. But they want to keep the status quo and not give them anything new. I'm giving this a 5. Six Flags St. Louis, Boomerang. 10 coasters. Some of these could be removed. I think a lot of people would choose Ninja, but the last 2 times I've been there, Boomerang hasn't even been open. It's had a chalky history at the park. It was relocated there in 2013. I could see them take this out and put another flat ride there, or possibly an RMC Raptor. I'm giving this a 4, just because I think Ninja has a shot at being next. Six Flags Great America, Demon. 15 coasters at the park, and some of them may not be there much longer. American Eagle, Vertical Velocity, you could even argue Max Force may have a short life, but I'm still eyeing Demon as the next one. It's gonna be turning 50 soon. It's right in the middle of the park, it's taking a big chunk of land, and I'm not convinced that it won't be sacrificed for the 50th anniversary in 2026. Whatever it is, it's taking up prime real estate in a great park. I'm giving this a 3. They do seem really attached to Demon, so maybe it lasts forever. Michigan's Adventure, Corkscrew. This park has 7 coasters, and you talk about clinging to what you have. This park just does not get anything new, ever. They're not touching their 3 wooden coasters. Mad Mouse, Thunderhawk, those should be okay. They just relocated and rethemed their family coaster, so it's gotta be Corkscrew. This is the very basic model. Drop, turn, 2 corkscrews, so I'm giving it a 5. Maybe, it doesn't happen for a long time, but I bet this is the one that goes next. It was their first coaster back in 1979, and up to this point, they have never removed a coaster. Six Flags Over Georgia, Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster. It really came down to this or Joker Funhouse, but given the problems the Skyline coasters have, their newest coaster may not last all that long. Harley Quinn and Tidal Twister came and went very fast, and this opened in 2023, so maybe by 2027 it's out. Going around the park, they're about to have 12 other coasters, but I don't think any of them are in danger. I'm giving Kid Flash a 3. It's hard to be confident that a brand new coaster is going to be the next one gone. Kings Island and Vertigo. This park has some pretty iconic coasters, but they did have those Paramount years from 92 to 06, and they added some cookie cutter stuff. And Vertigo kinda sticks out as out of place. Even though it's a pretty good ride, it's something they could easily get rid of and not miss. They could use that land to build a coaster that spans over the front entrance of the park. I'm giving this a 5. The only other coaster I can maybe see being removed is Backlot Stunt Coaster. Cedar Point, Rougarou. Well, maybe Top Thrill 2. That is not out of the question. But if this really gets scrapped soon, that would be a historic failure that people will talk about for decades. I think Rougarou doesn't have that many years left. I know, they have older coasters like Gemini, Cedar Creek Mine Ride, Corkscrew, Iron Dragon, but those serve a purpose appealing to all ages. Rougarou is just meant for thrill seekers. It's not that popular, it has a prime location in the park. It was renovated in 2015, but that was 9 years ago, so maybe soon Cedar Point pulls the plug. I'm giving this a 2 just because there's so many other options. Carowinds, Vortex. 14 coasters and quite a few of them could go. Hurler, Nighthawk. Maybe all 3 of them could end up gone. But they keep fixing up Hurler. They have all those parts from Firehawk to serve Nighthawk. So I got my eyes set on this 1992 B&M stand-up. One of the original B&Ms and not a very pleasant ride. You don't see B&Ms bite the dust that often. It's actually only happened once. But Carowinds is a big park. Maybe this gets moved to a smaller park. I'm only giving this a 3. This park has a lot of options. Canada's Wonderland, Time Warp. This is the worst coaster in the park and the only one that was closed the last time I went. Apparently, it's been down a lot lately, and there's been rumors that this is finally about to be done, 20 years into its tenure, and I'm giving this a 5 and I think it could happen soon. Canada's Wonderland has 18 coasters and have only removed 1 ever, and even with a lot of good options, I think Time Warp is inevitable. Six Flags Darien Lake, Hoot and Holler. Of the park's 8 coasters, it seems like most of them are safe. Mind Racer is actually getting an overhaul for next year. Hoot and Holler opened with the park in 1981, a Zero Tivoli kids coaster, and at some point I could see them getting a more modern kids coaster. That seems to happen with a lot of parks. I'm giving this a 4, just because it's hard to imagine what could be next, but I could see Boomerang or Motocoaster being taken out. King's Dominion, Anaconda. 5 years ago, this was my #1 choice in the whole country, that being for my video on coasters that could be gone in 5 years. That was pre-COVID, so obviously that threw a wrench in some of the plans. But you had Shockwave, Hurler, Volcano, so much lost in the last 10 years. This keeps chugging along, but I still don't think it has much longer here. I'm giving this a 5. Six Flags America, Batwing. Now that Six Flags and Cedar Fair are one company, maybe Nighthawk shares some of Firehawk's parts, and Batwing can live on. I know this coaster is closed a lot. That's usually a telltale sign that it could be gone soon. But it's Six Flags America and they don't want to close anything down. They'll keep it and they'll open it when they feel like it. Still, with all the moving parts and maintenance issues, maybe they pull the plug. I'm giving this a 4. I can see them giving Roar the RMC treatment, or giving up on Firebird, but all of this might take a long time to unfold. Dorney Park, Possessed. We already almost saw this get taken out. The original plan was to build a wooden coaster where Iron Menace is, and it seemed like that was going to be the end of Possessed. They were able to keep it, but it seems expendable, and it's an impulse, so you get all the maintenance fun that comes along with that. I'm giving this a 4, borderline 5, but I can see Wild Mouse possibly getting taken out first. Six Flags Great Adventure, King Ka. Maybe this is controversial, but when you look around Great Adventure, I don't see a lot of coasters primed to be taken out. Even with El Toro's problems, I think they'll go to extreme lengths to keep that around, and everything else serves a purpose in the park, so let's look at King Ka. It's in its 20th season. That hydraulic launch is one giant headache. I'm sure it's expensive to maintain. And given Top Thrill 2's problems, maybe that's off the table. Once Falcon Flight takes away the height record, maybe down the line, Six Flags throws in the towel. I'm only giving this a 1. Even as I'm saying it, it's hard to believe, and I'm sure this is an absolute last case scenario. Six Flags Great Escape, Steam and Demon. We only have 6 coasters here, one of them being the brand new Bobcat. That replacing the obvious answer to this question before last year, Alpine Bobsled. Steam and Demon was moved here in 1984. It's the first thing people see when they enter the park. Most people seem to hate it, and at some point it would be nice to replace it with something really cool. Something to get the guests excited when they arrive. I'm giving this a 5. L'Orange, Monster. This park just closed Cobra, then Super Menage, and they have some good options here. A very old Boomerang, a relocated SLC, a couple kids coasters, a Wild Mouse. But Monster is a 1985 wooden coaster. People don't like it. It has 2 tracks to maintain and they're about 4,000 feet long. Instead of maintaining it and doing constant retracking, even if they don't RMC it, they could see the value of tearing it down for something people actually like. This gets a 3 just because there's a lot of options here. Six Flags New England, Flashback. 11 coasters, and half of them can be taken out without anyone missing them. But that's especially true about Flashback. This was relocated here in 2000. It sat right next to Goliath, and that was taken out. And a lot of people think they could take this out also and build something across both plots of land. That may be wishful thinking, but this Boomerang is unnecessary, and I bet it's the next to go. For that reason, I'm giving it a 5. So there you go, the next coaster to get the axe from every Six Flags Entertainment Corporation park. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree, and if you have any other thoughts, sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and want to see more like this, please give me a sub. Also, check out my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage, and my baseball channel if you also happen to love baseball. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.